Hello race fans, this is Anthony with BBSN and we are back for another edition of Red, White, and Blue Racing, the 2018 SCRAM season. And today we are going to have race 10 of the 2018 circuit, the Pro Grip Power Tools 400, coming to you from beautiful New England Colonial Speedway. And some special guests in the audience for this one. Al, Red Sox fan, made the trip down, as did Steve Tower from After Further Review. So they are in the stands. And like you, we hope that they enjoy the race. So this will be a two-part. This is a 40-lap video, which isn't exceedingly long, but I'm going to talk a little bit before we do the qualifying about nicknames. And so this will extend it, so we'll do a two-part video. I'll probably run this one up to a lap 15 or the second pit stop, depending on how time goes. And then we'll finish it up with a part two. So I had a question regarding driver nicknames and how I came up with them. So as I go through these, and most of these are my nicknames. There are a couple of pre-existing ones, but we'll just go through each one as I go through the leaderboard, and also kind of why I came up with a nickname, because what I like to do, especially with a fictional universe, is try and get a mental picture of the driver, a little bit about their background, appearance, mannerisms, that type of thing that relays into that. So first of all, our leaderboard. After the last race, Clark Snook was able to overtake Julie Justice and move up into the top spot, holding a slim lead. Disco Stu Urich, who has been consistent all season, as has Trevor Trostel, are in third and fourth respectively. Craig Greco is having a very inconspicuous yet very productive 2018 campaign. Doesn't really make a lot of noise, just goes out and finishes well each race, and he is in fifth place. The top 10 is rounded out by Croyle, Bilovich, Cacciola, Wayne Big Sky Montana, and the veteran Pete McAtee. So with that, currently I have nicknames for 18 of the 59 drivers on the circuit, and really I don't necessarily try and give everyone a nickname. They just kind of pop up, and I'll go through each one. And again, some of these are pre-existing. Clark Snook, the snooker, I've seen that used before in videos. It just kind of goes with his name, basically. Nothing special, no real reasoning behind that. Just lends to a good catchphrase as he passes you. You got snookered, so that's his. Julie Justice, Queen of SCRAM, another pre-existing nickname. And I believe she is even referenced in the rule book or in literature on the 2018 season. Actually, it's in the literature in the 2018 season for the SCRAM universe. So just retain that. Disco Stu Urich, he's another one who had that nickname. And I picked the nickname up from Steve Tower at After Further Review, and he'd gotten it from one of his viewers, and I apologize, I forget who. He did mention that, but kind of stuck. I like the way it resonated, and you just envision there a guy who wears a few gold chains under his racing uniform, and has a little victory dance he does. So Disco Stu was one that I adopted, aka plagiarized. Trevor Trostel, the Terminator, got that. He was really consistent starting the year in this universe for me, and just kind of picture him as a cool customer, steely-eyed, gets the job done, and no nonsense on the racetrack. Kerry Cacciola, K-Fab, and kind of goes with his description. I picture him as kind of slick back hair, always wearing aviator mirror shades, even indoors at press conferences, and that's kind of his description in the brief one line that is given to you in the SCRAM universe. Kind of a ladies' man and a debonair type of race car driver. So it was either that or the excuse me, the Italian Stallion. And excuse me, morning voice. That nickname is kind of overused, so K-Fab just seemed to fit him. Wayne Big Sky Montana. And again, obviously the last name, the factor in that. Big Sky or Montana is the Big Sky state, and even though he is not from Montana, I picture him as more a West Coast driver. And probably blonde hair and a tan, and again, just Big Sky goes with his last name. KJ Nakashima, Kid Crafty, and this one really hasn't been debuted yet. Nakashima doesn't have the best resources on the circuit, but as you can see, he's in 12th place, due mainly to his driving skill. And Kid Crafty kind of comes into play and relates to that, as he's able to find ways to move up and get by not only on resources but on just pure skill alone. Ray Bob Walker, the Duke of Dixie, and Ray Bob Walker, that's enough said there, a NASCAR name if ever there was one. And this Floridian is a longtime SCRAM driver and is given the nickname Duke of Dixie for his continued excellence on the circuit. Aaron Hartley, the prodigy, and he is the young addition to the XM Racing team and has actually done very well, obviously in 18th place, top 20, which is very good for a young driver. And the prodigy just for his potential skill, which hopefully will evolve in current seasons, as well as the fact that he is learning from one of the best, Dick Exum. Going down to Jordy Pettis, and another one that really hasn't been prevalent in videos, mainly because Jordy has been underperforming, but the Electric Gypsy. And Pettis I just kind of see as a adrenaline junkie on and off the track, rides motorcycles, and basically that's where his nickname came from. Has a flowing mane, and can be seen on his Harley during the off season, traveling the highways and byways of America. Randy Kendrick, and Kendrick will get into a little bit more during qualifying, and his initial nickname, according to him, was a Sandman, but the way he kind of behaves on the track and in interviews in the pits and during TV week, as you will see, has given him a new nickname. He's been coined Rowdy, and his fans are running with that, so Rowdy Randy Kendrick. Billy Brett, the Alabama Badass, and this was the first nickname I think I came up with for after getting the game, and really that just came, it just fit his name, Billy Brett. You think of a Southern boy from Alabama, blaring Leonard Skinner, walks around in one of those snapback greasy hats, has a chaw tobacco in his mouth, and it also matches his demeanor on the racetrack. He does have the heat trait, so that is where the Alabama Badass came from. Dangerous Denny Baker, again, just another play on words there. Dangerous goes good with first names that start with a D, and though he hasn't particularly been that way during the season thus far. That was his nickname. Evan High Tech UTech, and look at him as one of the more progressive drivers, does a lot of computer analysis on his cars, that type of thing, hence the name High Tech. Kevin Pettis, simply KP. If you've been in the Army, you know that phrase well. And for him, just simply his initials. Mooch Thomas, Mooch Mania, and nothing needs to be said there, as you can probably discern if you've watched our videos. He is amongst my favorite drivers. I root a little harder for him to qualify and finish, which is a uphill battle for him in most cases, but the fans have adopted him, and Mooch Mania t-shirts dot the stands at any SCRAM event you will go to. Dick Exum, the mentor and patriarch of XM Racing, and Dastardly Dick. He is a curmudgeon-y sort, all business, think of a Tony Stewart type, a little bit of an edge to him, and Dastardly Dick is the nickname given to him for his aggressive driving tactics. And finally, Cooper Mixon, who will be in this race, has only, I believe, been in one other race this season, but he is the understudy of Big Sky Montana on the 99 team, and I would not be surprised to see Mixon, if Montana continues to race, see Mixon wind up on one of the other teams looking to upgrade the driver position. He is definitely the future, hence the nickname New Breed. So that is a brief, again, overview of the standings and also where I came up with the nicknames that I've given the drivers over the few weeks playing this game. So if there's any other drivers, and again, I don't try and nickname every driver, but you know, they just kind of come to me, and if they sound good, I use it. If not, no. So I'd be interested for anyone who does have the game, if you have other nicknames that you've given us, either these drivers or other drivers that are unnicknamed in this universe. But enough of that, let's get to qualifying. So this week we have our two TV drivers coming in, Donnie Schrupp and Randy Kendrick. And Schrupp shocked the world last week in the Lit Energy 600, fighting his way to a first place finish, and a key component of that was a duel he had with the number 30 car, which knocked Tufaro out of the race, Chuck Tufaro, and Tufaro took exception to that, and those two will enter this race actually in a feud. So Schrupp has that to worry about, and also the pressure and spotlight of being a defending race winner, which most people would have never guessed he would have done. Sometimes the chips fall your way, and that was the case with Schrupp as he held off Kerry Cacciola in a tense duel on the final lap to edge him out of the finish line, and again send shockwaves through the SCRAM world. Randy Kendrick. Kendrick has been involved in he enters this race fuming, and he's been involved in a little bit of back and forth with Clark Snook on social media. The basis of this is Kendrick, during his time on one of the lower circuits, was now known as the Sandman, and Snook apparently was wearing a shirt in 2 races back of the Sandman, and while Snook is a big Metallica fan, and hence the reason for the shirt, Kendrick for some reason took exception with that. Started a little back and forth on Twitter, and to which Snook basically downplayed and said, if you're that attached to the nickname, I just like the song, you can have your nickname, and no reason to act childish about it. Kendrick fired back. We'd see who was childish on the racetrack, and it kind of came to a head during this race week when Kendrick walked into the pit area, and someone from Snook's team put on their Bluetooth speaker and started blasting Sandman by Metallica out, and Kendrick apparently woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, walked over, snatched the Bluetooth speaker and flung it into the wall, shattering it into a dozen or so pieces. Words were exchanged, they had to be separated, and Kendrick's fans ate it up on Twitter and started calling him Rowdy Randy Kendrick, and that kind of picked up, and hashtag Rowdy1 took off. So a new nickname has been coined for Kendrick, again Rowdy Randy Kendrick, as we enter this race, and that seems to be what his fans are getting behind. We'll see how he embraces it. But those are our 2 selected TV drivers, and we will roll for 2 more, or however many more we get, and 11 this week. So it is going to be a massive week on the TV scene, which means we will have 9 more television drivers. All right, so let's see who we have here. First off, Paul Chen, and Chen, a huge result for him. Featured as one of the also-rans, and he'll get the gold trophy. Lonnie Lane, another middle-of-the-pack driver. The prodigy Aaron Hartley earns a TV slot, as does Neil Wallach. And Wallach, he got his TV slot making the first start of the year for the 20 team, or attempting to. Marty Moen has been in a couple of feuds and spent a lot of time not qualifying, so Wallach is going to get the shot today, and being a TV driver will undoubtedly help him. The veteran Graham, everybody loves him, Pleasant. Scott Steckel, and another huge pickup for one of the also-ran journeyman teams, as Steckel, a non-trophy driver, will hope to parlay this into a spot in the field. And all of this is kind of bad news for Mooch Thomas. Vic Holder gets the 9th spot, and Mooch Thomas Ask and you shall receive. Muchamania will continue to run wild as he makes the TV field. And again, no doubt a reflection of his adulation amongst his legions of fans who love to cheer for the underdog. So Mooch will have a good shot. So really a good week for non-trophy drivers in terms of TV. There's 4 of them as Robbie Petrosky gets the final slot. So with that, let's start rolling the TV qualifiers. Or actually, let me swap out their cards real quick. And this will take just a second. So yeah, I believe this is actually the most, well, not only the most TV drivers in general, but definitely the most non-trophy TV drivers that we've had during one of the races, which will make it interesting and probably mean that we have some trophy drivers who do not qualify this week, which is always fun and just part of the normal breaks of being a race car driver. So Mooch, signing autographs for his fans, heads back to the pit area. And Steckel, with the luck that this team has had, Steckel will probably parlay this into a blown out tire or something else during qualifying. Usually seems, or it's how that usually seems to work. But we are set, and we are ready to get race week qualifying underway. So the TV drivers, starting with Mr. Paul Chen, who once again gets the gold trophy as the first one drawn. And 15. 15 is going to be a TV interview. And 11, it's a great day for his sponsor, which is an obscure supermarket chain in his home state. Great day for us all, and we're excited about the race. Placement A. So that is huge. Placement A. A gold trophy driver gains the pole position. So Paul Chen out of nowhere with an exceptional week of qualifying. And he is going to be our pole position winner for this race. So next up, Lonnie Lane. And Lane 41. 41, driver praises TV sponsor in TV segment placement C. So a trophy driver gains the blue position in the middle group, which is the 4th. And so Lane is good to go. The prodigy, Aaron Hartley. And 11, that's going to be TV event X. And 14 on TV event X, engine change just before race, placement D. So did not work out well for him. Trophy driver goes to the bubble stack. So Hartley, he'll undoubtedly make the field bin on top of the bubble stack, so probably no worries there, but not the result that XM Racing wanted. And 12 for Neil Wallach making his first start. It's going to be driver appears in charity race event placement C. So non-trophy driver goes to the top of the bubble stack, so that should get Wallach into the race as well. Next up, Graham Pleasant. And 21. Sponsor event in Race City features autograph session with driver placement C, so he gets the blue die position in the middle group, which is the first position. Scott Steckel hoping for good fortune here. And Steckel 52. New sponsor for this race, extra publicity placement C. So Steckel goes to the top of the bubble stack, and I'm telling you, things for the drivers on the bubble stack are going to get kind of sketchy there, as he should qualify as well. Vic Holder 44. And 44 is going to take it to TV Event X. 46 on TV Event X. Driver appears in new TV commercial for sponsor, placement B. And so Vic Holder, trophy driver, is going to get the blue die position in the top group. So that is our second edition there. And Mooch Mania, his fans are going nuts. And 55 is going to be TV Event X. Or I'm sorry, 55, yeah, TV Event X. And 14, engine change just before race, placement D. So Mooch, constant trouble, placement D. Trophy driver placed in bubble stack, non-trophy does not qualify. So Mooch Mania will not be running wild in this race, as he does not make the field due to engine issues. And business as usual for the 58 team, sadly enough. 66. And TV Event X again. 36. Sponsor appearance on daytime TV talk show, and that is going to be placement C. So trophy driver goes to the blue die position in the middle group, which is the second spot, so he's in 10th. And finally, Rowdy Randy Kendrick, subject of much controversy over a foolish nickname, as one anonymous source was quoted as saying. Suspension problems during qualifying, placement D. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, as he goes to the bubble stack. And finally, last week's race winner, the surprise, Donnie Schrupp. And Schrupp with a 26. And 26, hot week and hot laps, placement A plus performance chip. So a non-trophy driver will gain the blue die position in the middle group, which is the other 4 spot. And he's going to get a performance chip. So Schrupp riding his good fortune to another good week in qualifying. And we will see how many fast TV drivers we have now. And we have 5 of them. And poor Mooch, his fans are disappointed as he sits on the sideline to watch this race. Tough luck there. And Chuck DeFaro, who's engaged in a feud, he'll go to the highest position available in the top group, which is right behind Chen. And I have a feeling Chen's lead will be short-lived. Jason Leonard, he gets the next spot up top. Julie Justice, she'll qualify 4th, so the top group filling up fast. Monica Merrick, 6th position. And finally, Trevor Trostel. So the fast qualifiers take up all the spaces up on top. And we will go to slow qualifiers, and there are 4 of them. So for our slow group, and non-trophy driver does not qualify. So 41, and that has nothing unusual for his team. Corey Wallace, ditto. So these guys will definitely make it easier. And Evan Hightech UTech silver, and he is going to go to the next position in the bubble stack. And Justin Mailer in this race for the 44 team in place of Vanover, the normal driver, gets to the bubble stack as well. And everybody else, which will be normal. So gold and silver, top group is full. Gold and silver will go to the middle group, and bronze will go to the bottom group, and everybody else in the bubble stack. So Disco Stu, 9th, Kenny Hicks, bubble stack. Marlon McGarry, 11th. And KJ Nakashima, he's in the 20th spot. Blake Schlegel, bubble stack. Gary Pine, bottom group. Parnell Drake, middle group. Alex Hodge, bubble stack. Tom Rossi, bottom. And Cooper Mixon, the new breed, gets in the middle group. Good qualifying run for him. Sonny Swain, bottom. Chris Wynn, bottom. Mark 4th will be not qualifying. Ray Bob Walker. The Alabama Badass Billy Brett in 25th. Kurt Bryson gets the 17th spot. Austin Bigler, he is in the 18th spot. Ralph Roach, and poor Mr. Roach will miss yet another race. And the Electric Gypsy, Jordy Pettis, checks in at 19, so trophies will now go to the bottom. And Greco, Greg Carl, KP, KFAB, Kerry Cacciola, the Snooker, Jeff Daly Jr. and Joey Plonka. And there are going to be limited spots for non-trophy drivers. McAtee, Baker, Croyle, Bilovich, and a lot of gold drivers down here on the bottom. Hashhagen, and finally Chase Fetterman will be watching from the sidelines. So we have 6 spots to fill, and they will go to Scott Steckel, the 55 team, getting a driver in, as the 20 team does as well. The prodigy Aaron Hartley in there, Rowdy Randy Kendrick, who had some issues with the pit, Evan Hightech Utech, and Justin Mahler fills out the final spot. So not qualifying is a slew of non-trophy drivers: Hicks, Schlegel, Hodge, 4th, Roach, and Fetterman. So we are set to go, and again, this will be a 2-part video, and we are at 27 minutes now, since I did a lot of talking about nicknames and other stuff. So we will get, we're going to shoot for 15 laps and call it a part 1. So let's get rolling here. And again, just a quick reminder, feuding, we have the 30 car and the 49 car. So Chuck Tafaro and last week's winner Donnie Schrupp, and Rowdy Randy Kendrick is going to be fewing. So we are ready to go. Gentlemen, start your dice, and lap number 1. Middle group, and it's going to be rare and also a problem. So we will resolve the problem check first. And 44. Middle group, that is going to be driver number 4 even. So that will be Lonnie Lane. And his problem, 46, and that is going to be smacks wall, internal damage, roll for repair. So Lane, and Lane with a pit rating of B. So he needs a 1 to 10 to stay in the race, and he should be fine. And he is, but he is going to go to the back of the pack. And smacking the wall will also get us a yellow flag for turn number 2. And again, under yellow flag, Daly Jr., we don't have to make a gas pedal check. I always go from the wrong end. KJ Nakashima, Kid Craft, he takes advantage of that to move up. And everybody else follows suit. And heading to the back of the field and going a lap down right away will be Lonnie Lane. Some misfortune for him. And this is going to be a rare event. So rare results for middle group. Here we go. 21. And 21, Surge. Driver moves to top group. So what we will do there is then identify a driver. And he will take the blue die position in the top group. So 23, and that is going to be driver number 2, Odds. So McGarry, and he's going to jump all the way up and supplant Chuck Tafaro in the top group. And turn number 2 comes under yellow, lap number 3. And again, on a yellow result, the driver can try a wave around for passing his pit check, but not on the turn he goes a lap down, which is why we don't apply that to Lonnie Lane here. 4 will be middle group, and 8 is going to be a smart check. And so smart for middle group, starting with Nakashima. And Nakashima has it. Let's see who he goes after up top. And 2 on the blue die, he is going after McGarry. And McGarry has a brake pedal, so he's going to fight that challenge off. Moving up next, and we will go all the way up to Disco Stu Urich. He's the last one. He's got double smart, so he can make a nice run here. Going after the 5th spot, Monica Merrick, and 4 on the blue die is going to get it done. So Disco Stu vaults up into the top group, and he's got a shot to go after the leader here now. And Chen has nothing but his 2 brake pedal bonuses, and he's easily going to be passed by Disco Stu. And Chen is like a minnow in shark-infested waters. Does manage to lead for 3 laps. But we knew that would not last, and Disco Stu Urich will start the 4th turn in the lead. And middle group again, and 7. And 7 will be the control check, which should be just about everyone. So we'll start with KJ Nakashima. And Nakashima fails a gas pedal check. Jordy Pettis. And Pettis, a blue 1, will not get it done. Both Bigler and Bryson will have a shot. Bryson going after the 2nd spot, Jason Leonard, and he's going to get that done. And move up. Austin Bigler takes his turn. And going after the 6th spot, Trevor Trostel. And Trostel, he's going to be able to not fight that off. He only has the 2 brake pedals there. Actually, my bad. He gets the bonus, so 4 on the blue die. He does fight that off. So Trostel, using some excellent defensive driving, maintains his spot. Next up, Donnie Schrupp with a performance chip. And Schrupp gets the gas pedal check, and he's going after the 5th spot, which is Paul Chen. And poor Paul, his moment of glory is fading fast as he is back to 14th place in the middle group, and Schrupp gets to keep his performance chip. Could lightning strike twice? He thinks not, but it's still a good story to think about as Ray Bob Walker goes after the queen of SCRAM, Julie Justice. And she finds herself on the losing end of a challenge, which is very rare. Next up, New Breed, Cooper Mixon. And Coop, a blue 1, will not get it done. Drake does not have control. Next up, Chuck Tafaro looking to reclaim a spot in the top. He passes the gas pedal check and going right back after McGarry. And McGarry, he has a 3 in defense, and that's not going to be enough to fight off Tafaro, who says, I'm taking my top spot back. And next up is going to be Monica Merrick. And Monica passes the gas pedal check and going right back after Tafaro. And a 3 is going to fight that off as he has the bonus plus a brake pedal and the skill. And finally, Graham Pleasant. And Pleasant passes the gas pedal check, and he is also going after Tafaro, who's getting picked on early here. And a 6 on the blue die is going to get it done. So we head into lap number 5. And some interesting racing here, and we have a duel. So duel 8, and that is going to be the 6 cars in the middle group, and that will also then go over to the feud fume results. So first off, we will resolve the duel. And 6 driver in the middle group, that is, of course, Nakashima and Pettis. And Kid Crafty, he is looking up at Tafaro and decides to hold off as, again, playing it smart with only 3 gas pedal. Jordy Pettis, He's going to go after Tafaro, so he needs a 5 or better, and he does not get it done, so now he has to make a roll for escape check, 9 or better, and he is good there. So Pettis avoids being collected as Tafaro fights him off, and now we go to the fume feud, and we have a feuding driver and a fuming driver. So Dot will be the feud, which is Tafaro and Schrupp, and no Dot will be our fuming driver, which of course is Rowdy Randy Kendrick, and it's going to be our feuders. So here we go. Doesn't take long for Schrupp and Tafaro to get at it. And 10, turtle to bottom plus a yellow. So the turtle here, Schrupp is up in the top group, and Tafaro is not going to have his opinion of Schrupp improved any further as he is bounced. So he stays on the lead lap as there was not any issues there in terms of an accident. Just kind of got sideways and fell behind, got back on the track. So he will be on the lead lap, but he's going to be all the way back to 42nd place as Pine moves up. So Schrupp, he says he is a journeyman driver, but he's not going to be pushed around on the track. And still a lap down, of course, is Lonnie Lane. So very interesting turn there as we head into turn 6, and that is under yellow. And Stu Urich is going to call for a pit stop 1 lap early here, which of course will move up the remaining pit stops in this race. And that becomes a very important strategic point as the race goes on, especially for that last pit stop, as drivers will be unable to try and finish the race without getting gas now. So Disco Stu calling the early pit, and going to be top group, and 4 and 5 change spots. So Schrupp continuing to show off his newfound driving prowess moves up, and in the second group, the Electric Gypsy and Austin Bigler move up and pass Leonard and Julie Justice. And so top group now rolling for a performance chip. And Urich does not get it. Graham Pleasant needs a 5, doesn't get it. Bryson a 7, he gets 1. Ray Bob Walker a 9 and misses. Schrupp a 3, nope. Vic Holder an 8, he is good to go. And finally the Terminator, Trevor Trostel, and he needs an 11 or better. He's almost a shoe-in to get a performance chip every time he has the opportunity. And coming out of the pits, let's see who will challenge Disco Stu, and it is going to be Ray Bob Walker. So Walker, and doesn't get it done, so Urich fights him off as we head into turn number 7. And no change to the leaders, and we're going to have another duel. So 7 is going to actually go to the fume feud. So we'll see. Things get pretty crazy now with our feuders, and it is going to be Schrupp and Tafaro going at it again. So let's see what happens here. A 7 and Rabbit goes to the bottom, no yellow. So in that situation, Schrupp can use a performance chip to fight that off, and he is going to do so. So he was hoping to hold that, not going to be able to if he wants to stay up top. So 7 turns in as we head to turn number 8, and Tafaro and Schrupp going at it, tong and hammer. Middle group 9, and that is going to be a reflex check. So the Duran check, and we will start this off with Gary Pine going after the top group. And Pine going after the third spot, Ray Bob Walker, and he's going to get that done and vault up into fourth place as Ray Bob is surpassed. Going down, Julie Justice, Queen of Scram, giving it a shot. And Scram, she's going after Vic Holder, and she gets it done, but Holder has a, going after Trevor Trostel. And a 4, Trostel's going to be able to fight her off and not use a performance chip. With a 4 on the blue die, Jordy Pettis does not have it, Austin Bigler does, and Bigler taking a crack at Gary Pine, and a 4 on the blue die is going to knock Pine back into the middle group. And Bigler up into fourth place now. Parnell Drake will be next, and Drake, a 1 on the blue die, automatic fail. And finally, Robbie Petrosky looking to move up from the 9th spot. And Petrosky, he is going after Vic Holder, and a 5 on the blue die will get it done, but Holder's going to say nope, use a performance chip and swat him back as we head into turn number 9. So most of the action going on up front now, and we have yet another duel, and this will be the number 5 cars in the middle group. So in this scenario, Leonard and Justice, and Leonard's going to give it a shot. Going after Monica Merrick, and he gets it done. And a performance chip, and Merrick now will have to make a escape roll, and she needs a 6 or better, and she gets it done. Gets sideways, loses a little paint against the wall, but she is fine. Justice, he's going to go after Petrosky, and Julie Justice gets it done as well. So Petrosky, performance chip for the Queen of Scram, and Petrosky will have to make an escape roll himself. And he needs a 7 or better, and just gets it done. Almost loses it, but able to straighten out and come back up off the infield and in 16th place. So no hate exchange, just a little bit of paint and rubber as we head to turn number 10. And that's going to be top group, and 6 will be a skill check. So skill, Trevor Trostel is going to give it the first shot, going after Disco Stu, and Stu Urich, it will take a blue 6 to get it done unless you want to use a performance chip. He fails miserably, and triple 1s is going to be a problem. So in this scenario, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get to complete his challenge, and we're going to go straight to the problem chart. And again, you can't use a chip to get out of a problem. Battery change, drop to front of bottom group. So Trostel is actually going to lose his performance chip as he goes to the front of the bottom group. And we will resolve the rest of the challenges and come back to resolve that in a moment. So skill check. Next up, Vic Holder going after Yerk, and no yellow flag, which is why the others get to continue their challenges. And not going to get it done. Needs a blue 6. Donnie Schrupp does not have the skill trade. Austin Bigler does, and Bigler gets it done on the gas pedal check and the blue die. So a shocker there, as Disco Stu Urich, extremely hard to pass. Kurt Bryson does not have, or does have, the skill check, so he will go next, and he has a performance chip. Graham Pleasant does not, and not enough to get it done, but Bryson uses a performance chip to vault up to first place, and we're going to have a new leader for lap 11. So Disco Stu was able to lead for 6 laps, and let's resolve our problem now. So coming up, we'll take a gas pedal check to move up, and Leonard does so. And everybody else in the bottom or middle group will move up a spot. Paul Chen enjoying his time in the limelight, currently in 12th place. And Tom Rossi now, he gets it done, and he will just be replaced by Trostel, who moves to the top of the bottom group. But even the big tragedy there is, of course, he lost his performance chip. So we head to turn number 11. And for middle group 9 is going to be a reflex check. So Tom Rossi, making his move to get up into the top group, goes first. And going after the 6th spot, Jason Leonard, and that's actually going to be enough to get it done. So Leonard's going to have to use a performance chip. Ray Bob Walker next. And Ray Bob also going after Leonard. Rossi distracted him, and Ray Bob Walker, the Duke of Dixie, put him away. So he's up into 7th spot now. Nakashima and Merrick do not have reflex. Robbie Petrosky next. And Petrosky going after the 2nd spot, which is Austin Bigler, and he gets it done with a blue 6. So our TV driver's having some good luck here early, or good skill, I should say. Next up is Gary Pine, and Pine goes after Graham Pleasant, and a 2 brake pedal with the bonus not going to be enough to fight the challenge off, as Pine now up on Bryson's tail, and we have some unfamiliar faces up in the top 3. Parnell Drake will be next, and Julie Justice will close us out. Drake misses the gas pedal check, and Julie Justice with a performance chip. Going after the 3rd spot, Disco Stu, and Stu is able to defeat that with the brake pedal bonus. So Justice will use her performance chip and vault up into 4th and knock Disco Stu down to 8th. So some good back and forth action up top on that turn as we head to turn number 12. And yet another duel, 7, and that goes to the Fume Feud. So again, this could be our 3rd, and this time it's going to be the rowdy one. And Randy Kendrick is back in 39th spot. So we're going to roll on the fume chart. So we'll pick a rabbit with the decider dice. So Kendrick here, dot will be Hartley, blank will be UTEC, and it's going to be blank. So UTEC the turtle, Kendrick the rabbit, and here we go. 9. And turtle out plus yellow. So UTEC going to be knocked up into the wall by Rowdy Randy Kendrick, and he is done for the day. So our first finisher, and that's going to be a crash on lap number 12, and that will also put UTEC and Kendrick in a feud. So the 10 and 36 cars will feud in race number 11. And everybody will move up. And a yellow, Lonnie Lane has a chance to get back on the lead lap next turn. So turn 13 will be held under yellow. And Lane, pit of B, this is still the first third, the last turn of the first third of the race. So to move up there, and this will be on the trouble section. So Lane, a pit crew of B, will need a 10 or better to get back on the lead lap. Should be no problem, and we have nobody a lap down. So turn 13 complete under yellow. We head to turn 14. And another duel. This will be the number 6 cars in the middle group. So Rossi and Leonard. Rossi with only a 3 is going to hold off, but Leonard's going to go after Disco Stu, and he needs a 4 or better. Big mistake. You do not go after Disco Stu. And he now has to make an escape roll, and he gets it done. So Stu fights him off. And we head to turn 15, and there will be a pit stop on the next turn. We're going to go ahead and ride this out, looks like, through the next pit stop. So Once again, we are dueling, and this is the number 5 cars in the middle group. So Nakashima and Merrick. Nakashima, using his smart quality, decides to pass. Monica is going to test Disco Stew, and she gets it done. So Merrick up into the 8th spot, gets a performance chip, and Disco Stew now has to make a save. And he needs only a 10 or better. He does that easily. As we head into the pit stop, and again a turn early, so on turn 16. And this will be the top group, 3 and the 4 cars swap place. So Donnie Schrupp just quietly defying logic, odds, and everything else, hanging around in that top group after his shocking win last week. And in the middle group, Bigler and the Electric Gypsy Jordy Pettis move up, and our pole position leader Paul Chen and Graham Pleasant back. And let's roll for some performance chips. So our race leader Bryson, needing a 7, he gets 1. Gary Pine needs a 5, no. Petrosky a 6, yes. Donnie Schrupp a 3, no. Julie Justice a 10, easy for her. Vic Holder an 8, yep. And finally Ray Bob Walker a 9, and he gets 1 as well. So we are going to have a challenge now, and it is going to come from Robbie Petrosky heading out of the pits. He needs a 4 or better. He gets it. So both have the performance chip, a dot they use them, and blank they don't. So by not using them, Bryson is going to be passed. And Petrosky is our new leader. So Bryson leads up through lap 16, and Petrosky takes the lead over on lap 17, and we're going to go ahead and take this to 20 in part 1, as we're making pretty good time due to a lot of duels. And finally, top group 8 is going to be a smart check. So smart, Ray Bob Walker does not, Holder does. And again, performance chips aplenty here. And Holder fails on the brake pedal check. Let's see if he chooses to use a performance chip. No, he will save that, wise. And Julie Justice, the only trait that she does not have. Schrupp, no, and Bryson's got it. That's how he got up there in the first place. Let's see if it will benefit him again. And not going to get it done. Do they keep their performance chips? They do. And that does it. So turn 17 in the books. We head to turn 18. And the bottom group here, probably good for some of our non-trophy drivers. And just as I say that, they have both a problem and a challenge. So this is going to be a heat check. So first we will do our problem finder for the bottom group. And 66. And 66 is going to be driver number 24, which does not exist. So they will all dodge a bullet there. And instead we will move on to the heat check. So Chuck Tafaro going to be the first one to try and bounce up into the middle group. And he gets it done going after 2 even, which is Parnell Drake. And Drake not going to be able to fight that off, so a huge move for Tafaro, who takes a little bit of a time out from his feud with Donnie Schrupp to actually do some racing. And next up, Rowdy Randy Kendrick, flaunting his new nickname happily and stirring up his fan base with more derisive tweets. And he's going to go after the number 2 position up here, which will be Cooper Mixon, the new breed, and he's going to get it done on the heat check. So Kendrick back in business into the 11th spot, and right behind him will be Aaron Hartley, and the Prodigy gets his gas pedal check, and he is going after Jason Leonard, and a 4 on the blue die is also going to get it done. So Hartley, channeling that Exum nastiness that Dastardly Dick uses so well, vaults up into the 18th spot. And Neil Wallach, the newcomer, the only thing he has is heat, but he needs a 2. Does not get it on the gas pedal check. Steckel, no, and up to Brooks Bilovich, who has been quiet thus far. He fails his gas pedal check. Cam Croyle, and Croyle also, well, he's going after the 3rd spot even, which is going to be Jordy Pettis, and a 6 on the blue die allows Croyle to vault up. And problems continue for Pettis, and he is bounced back to 33rd place. Next up, Clark Snook, and Snook has been stuck back here for quite a while now. He's going after 3 odd, which is going to be Austin Bigler, and Bigler has the heat trait. That's all he has though, so a roll of 2 will actually get it done for Snook. And as he vaults up into 13th place, his fans yell in unison, "You have been snookered." The longtime catchphrase of the snooker, and Carl fails a gas pedal check. The Alabama Badass making his first noise of the race, and he decides to go after Cam Croyle, and a blue 4 is going to get it done for Brett. So Billy Brett now vaults up into the middle group into the 12th spot, Croyle back to 23rd. And that is going to do it for our challenge there as we head into lap number 18. 2 laps to go, and we'll call this a video part 1. Middle group 5, and that's going to be a star check. So in the middle group, Tom Rossi, he has got it. He's going after top group, and triple 4s, bad news. We have a problem, Houston. It's a couple of times that has happened. So 45 on the problem finder, radiator damage, roll for repair. And again, we are in the 2nd third of the race, so a pit group of, or a pit rating of D for Rossi on a problem, and it's going to take a 3 or better, or he is going home for the day. And Rossi calls it an afternoon. So the 24 car goes out with a radiator and goes out on lap number 18. He'll finish in 42nd place. And that will not prompt a yellow flag. So the challenges will continue, and then we will then fill the gaps. So on we go, and Disco Stu Urich and Nakashima do not have the star quality. Graham Pleasant does. Pleasant takes a run at Gary Pine up there, and Pine has no answer as Pleasant, known to live up to his last name, is one of the politest drivers on the track, nods and smiles as he vaults into 2nd place. And of course, Clark Snook, one of the bigger stars on the circuit, fails his gas pedal. So Chuck Tafaro will be next. And Tafaro going after the 6th spot, Ray Bob Walker, and he will get it done with a blue 5. So Walker's going to say performance chip. I'm going to cash this in and swat you back to the middle group. And finally, Marlon McGarry and Merrick both have the star trait. McGarry is a double star. Fails the gas pedal check on the first one. And second one rolls a blue 1, so he's thwarted twice, the second time by Donnie Schrupp of all people there. Monica Merrick is next, and she fails the gas pedal check going after Bryson. So we will roll to see if they elect to use their performance chips, and they both do not, so status quo. And we head to turn number 19, and we will fill in the gap first of all. So Trostel, he's going to need a 5 or better to move up, and he gets it easily. So he's back up into a familiar position, and we now have 2 cars out of the race. which it has been much worse. And again, no modifiers. I didn't mention at the beginning, but no modifiers to escape or repair on this track. And dubs, we're going to have another problem in the top group. 12 will be a heat check. Now on the last lap, use a problem on the final 4 turns. And so that would be a double problem in that scenario. So first of all, we will do our problem finder. And that will just need to be a single die, and that is the number 5 car, Vic Holder. So let's see what's going on with Vic. And roll of 12 and cooling problem, roll for repair. So pit rating of B, and in the middle third, going to take a 7 or better to stay in the race, and he just gets it done. And again, you cannot use a performance chip for a problem. So he will head to the back and be a lap down. And we will first fill in the gaps. No yellow flag on that. Monica Merrick needs a 4 or better, doesn't get it. McGarry a 5, he does. So he moves up. And everybody in the middle group jumps a spot. And trying to fill the gap into the middle group will be Sonny Swain, who needs a 3 or better, and Sonny Swain gets it done. And the rest of the field moves up accordingly, and again, Vic Holder down a lap, and now it's a heat check. So in the top group, heat rating, Ray Bob Walker has it, so he'll go after Petrosky. And Petrosky does have that performance chip handy if needed, and it's going to take just a roll of a blue 3 to pass him, so that's good enough. Petrosky has to use a performance chip. McGarry does not have it. Julie Justice does, and we know who our new leader is going to be. She gets it done, does not have to spend her performance chip, which is huge. Schrupp no, and Pleasant no. So as we head into our final lap of part 1, the Queen of Scram, Julie Justice, leads for the first time today, and this will be the final turn for part 1 of this video of the Pro Grip Power Tools 400. And that's going to be the bottom group and a control check. So Holder actually does not even have that quality. So he doesn't get to go. Lonnie Lane will. And Lane fails the gas pedal check. Parnell and Justin Mahler do not. Cooper Mixon, the new breed, does. He needs a 3 though on the gas pedal, does not get that. Jason Leonard a 4. And he gets it, so going up after Gary Pine. And Pine has control, but that's all he has, so Leonard. And Leonard's been another driver who has done fairly well. He's been consistent and challenging. He just can't seem to put together a top finish. So Scott Steckel and the 55 team having rare representation in this rate, and Steckel doesn't even come close, and a 6 on the yellow triangle. So in that case, he is going to have a problem. So let's find out what the problem is first. And 55 team, if they did not have bad luck, they would have electrical problem, roll for repair, and a pit of E. And in the middle third, he's done. So Steckel, our second TV driver to go out. And he has electrical on turn 20. And again, no yellow flag there, as everyone will move up. And we continue. Sean Hashhagen will go next. And Hashhagen, 555s, and he fails a gas pedal check, and he too is going to have a problem result. So lots of issues today. The pit crews apparently did not do a very good job this week. Overheating, roll for repair, pit crew A or B problem does not occur, and unfortunately you do not have a or B. So he's going to need a 5 or better to stay in the race, and Hashhagen is done for the day. So the attrition continues. And it has been 1 crash and 3 problems thus far as Hashhagen joins the pile. Brooks Bilovich, the control check. And Bilovich fails the gas pedal check on that, or that would have got him up. Jordy Pettis, the electric gypsy, trying to get back into the second group, passes the gas pedal check, and he is going after Trostel. And Trostel, a 4, and he has control plus 2 brake pedals, but not going to be enough as Pettis just edges him out. So Trostel in unfamiliar territory, and that was a great move by Pettis to get into the middle group. Pete McAtee next. And McAtee passes the gas pedal check, and he is going right after Pettis, so right on his tail. He follows him, drafts, and then whips around, and Pettis does not know what hit him as McAtee is now up into the 18th spot. Next up, Joey Plonka, and Plonka fails the gas pedal check. We had not heard from him prior to this. Austin Bigler looking to get back into that second group. And Bigler passes the gas pedal check. He is going after Sonny Swain, and Swain not going to be able to fight off Bigler, who jumps up into 19th place. And Smiling Sonny back in the bottom group. And Kerry Cacciola, K-Fab, has been quiet. And he will be going after the Snooker, and Snook, 2 on the blue die, never going to be enough against the Snooker, who fights him off easily and laughs at him as he bounces him back to the bottom group. Triple ones, and Pettis is going to have a problem now. And KP Pettis, so lots of issues in this race. 64, and 64, engine trouble, roll for repair, and Pettis is a B. And going to take a 7 or better, and just gets it done. But of course that repair result will put Pettis a lap down. And again, everybody moves up in the bottom group. And Greg Carl will go next. Carl needs a 3, does not get it. Craig Greco fails his gas pedal check as well. Cam Croyle. And Croyle is good to go. He's going after the Alabama badass Billy Brett, and he's going to get it done with the blue 4. So Brett gives a 1-fingered salute as he is passed, and finally Chris Wynn does not have it. So that wraps up turn number 20. We are halfway through this race, and we will do a part 2 to wrap it up, and it will continue as you see it here. Our current leader, the Queen of SCRAM, Julie Justice, Graham Pleasant in second, Kurt Bryson in third, and the surprising Donnie Schrupp, the underdog, Cinderella Man. He won last week and is in 4th in this race. Robbie Petrosky 5th, Marlon McGarry 6th, and the Duke of Dixie, Ray Bob Walker in 7th. We will be back later with part 2, and until then, keep rolling for the finish line, and we will see you.